teach all my students, and basically after you learn it, you can make up your own, as long as the principles of the bag and punches and kicks are in a flow. It does not matter. We'll do these at a couple different angles, and then but basically we're going to do 2 techniques and then add 1 on at a time instead of going through all, because there's a multiple strike situation here. It's teaching you, one, how to flow from one technique to another, and another one basically how to put combinations together, how to put your hands and your feet and your knees and everything else together. Okay? The first technique, we'll go through it slow, is the forward leg round kick. And it's going down here and then a straight left punch. That's the first part of the technique. What you're doing there, you're trying to kick to the groin, but if you don't kick to the groin, that's fine. You're going to get his attention down somewhat so that straight punch can get in there and swat him with that. So that's what that's for. Okay, we'll just go through this a couple times. As usual, you don't just hold the bags out, you keep them covered, and you're trying to work on his speed or perception speed. When he sees that opening, he has to attack that opening. Okay? Don't get in a rhythm. That's another thing with bags. A lot of people do that. You know, they go here, here. They get in a rhythm. He knows it. That's not training him. Use broken rhythm. And then your more advanced thing, use fakes, fint. You know, make him react. Couple times this way. Slowly. Basically, forward leg kick, straight punch. Noticing he's still getting on the ball, that back foot, driving hips forward, everything. Okay, a couple more times. Okay, back this way. Now we add the third equation to this technique, which is the hook punch. Slowly, go here, 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 there. Okay, so now we've blended this into the equation. Okay, a few times quick. I made him wait there. That's what you got to do. Sometimes you don't make him wait. Break the rhythm up. Okay, bag holders, you got to be aware. You get clipped with this stuff. Now, let's go around this way, go over it once or twice so you can see it in this angle. Okay, go back over here. Now we're going to get into another kick. We went kick, punch, punch, and now we're going to go kick again. Now this is a very, very important. I've had more people probably get swatted from this part than any other part on this particular combination drill, because there's more involved than just moving the hands. You have to move your feet at the same time. So let's go over this way. I think it's going to be better shown this way. So slowly, he goes round kick, straight punch, hook. Now I have to take a step back and cover the gloves because he's going to be throwing a tie round kick right into the body. If I don't step back, ribs is open. If I don't have the gloves here, I'm open. So you got to be really aware. Now he shouldn't be throwing a full power kick. These little things here is not enough to take a full power kick or knee. But if you still get hit with a tie round kick at any pace with a shin, it still hurts like the dickens. Okay? Okay, now, that's your fourth equation. Now we're going to get into knees. Okay, we'll go this way on this one. It's called the number one knee. We'll go over it slowly once. There's the round kick, straight punch, hook punch, step back. There's a round kick. Now you have to make another step to square up and let him throw the knee. Okay? One more time slowly. Okay? Okay, we'll go over this a few times a little quicker. Okay? This way. Now remember, the straight knee is straight. Number one knee is a straight. Should not go around at all. It's straight to the opponent from that point A to point B. Okay, one more time. Okay? Now the last of the equation. Now we get into the rabbit knees. Basically, another thing this is doing for him is building his window. It's a lot of stuff here. Okay? And what we're going to have him do is go through it slow, and then we're going to have him do 5 rabbit knees in the end, and this will be the end of the combination technique. Okay? Round kick, straight punch, hook. Round kick. One knee, hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rabbit knees. You soften him up, take him out of there. Okay, one more time, slow this way. Round kick, straight punch, hook. Round kick. Number 1 knee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to do it a couple more times. A little more speed this time. Okay, that's this way. Okay. Okay, gun defense section of the video. The first technique that we're going to do is a gun pointed in the front with both hands to the head. Okay. Now let's cover it a little slower. Basically, my uke cannot say hands up without laughing, so we're not having that. That's one of the reasons that you see he's laughing now. So basically, I'm just putting my hands up here. I lean my head back as I grab his hand and the barrel, knocking it that way. Okay, and as soon as I knock it that way, I pull straight down on the hand. You can see right here, you have a finger lock on him. That's what's causing all the pain right there. You do it fast enough, you can tear the finger right off the hand. Okay, so it's here, knocking it that way and up, just in case you have somebody around you. Straight down and lock. Take the gun away from the attacker. Slap, just like that. You want to grab right on the hammer of the gun. You're grabbing that hand and straight down in an angle, not straight like this, but in an angle here. But when the finger locks, you have a finger lock on him. He either has a choice of going down or his finger being ripped off or broke. Point it to the attacker, slide the gun out, and cover him. A couple times this way. Making sure that you do this. You lean back too, just in case. So it's out that way, straight down, cover, and back. Last time. Okay, the next gun, we're going to have the gun pointing to our body in the front. Okay? What we're doing there is we're turning our body to make it small. Same time we're grabbing the hand and pushing it out and pointing the gun down, grabbing on top of the hand, step into where we're even with him, raise up, get down with both hands, pulling the gun away. Okay? Probably be a little better from this angle. We'll do the rest of them from this side. Okay? So it's here, here. So you got to be way in here. You can't be out here and do it. You got to be right here. Lift it up, yank down, step back for fire. Okay? Same thing. Your hand goes right around where the hammer is. Now you always want to try to point the gun either up or down for people standing around. You might have your family with you. You don't want to get anybody else shot if the gun accidentally goes off. This right here will pretty much get you safe. If you go like this, he shoots, he might shoot somebody behind you. Okay, so it's more of a downward action, grab, lock, yank, step back, ready for fire. Okay? Always when you want to try to get your hand in between the gun and the attacker, that if he tries to get it back from you, he's got to go through this hand to get to this gun. Okay? It's here, 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 and back. Remembering this part right here, you do not want to be too far out this way. It's not good. You got to be way, way, way in here with the gun pointing back to him, raised up, rip it straight out with both hands, step back for fire. Okay, now we're going to show you this way once. Just a turn. They would miss with a gun, at the most graze me. But with me doing that, it's even better. Okay? It's not a real tight grab, it's real fast, hard grab, because then he'll basically freak out and you might have a fire on your hands if he's quick. Just out here, lock out, step back and fire. Okay? Okay, the third gun defense technique is he's pointing the gun, he's at your side, and he pulls a gun to you. Okay? Just in this fashion. Anytime a gun is pulled on you, don't freak out. The faster you try to move, the more you might try. You just try to relax as you do your technique. Okay? Now you don't want to hit it too hard. If you hit the gun too hard, you might discharge the gun, like I said, injuring innocent people around you. So you step in slightly, grabbing the back of the elbow. You have the arm pinned. This arm slides up underneath. You hook and turn. Take the gun out, put it in. Here, stepping in, making sure you get that distance in. You just want to be inside the gun. Okay? The gun is behind me. If I'm out here, all he might have to do is just point the gun like that and shoot me anyways. Okay? So make sure you step in, grab the arm, then this arm rotates, shuts into the elbow, lock, take the gun away and point it to the attacker to settle him down. Okay, let's go this side. Stepping in, hit, lock. This arm right here, this is what it's doing. Hooking back the arm, it rotates underneath, just like this. Fits into the elbow, spin, take it down, take the gun away, point to the attacker. in, making sure the gun is past you, hand goes under, pull, rotates under, hits into the elbow, rear leg spins, take down, take the gun, point it to the attacker. Last time. That is the most important and hardest part of the technique, is that right there. And make sure that when you come here, this arm goes up and you drive straight down into the ground. What causes your pain? Always put the gun to the attacker very violently to settle him down until somebody gets the police there. Okay? Okay, gun technique. Now we're getting into rear gun techniques. And I'm going to explain this to you once we get to the fifth one. Not on the fourth one, but the fifth one, but the reason why we have the two. Okay, the first one, we're going to be doing rear to the body, and the gun will be in his right hand. I'll do this in several different angles for you to see. Just let this a little bit. A little slower. One, I'm stepping back and into, hitting the arm, knocking the gun away. This hand's coming over and I trap the gun. Then I take the gun to the attacker, spin around, and then the gun is always pointing to the attacker. I roll him over on his belly, put the gun out forcefully to his back, or any part of his body as far as that's concerned. That's the most convenient spot in this technique. Okay, one more time this way. Stepping back. Now as I'm doing this, this hand has to be coming up because it's got a trap, because all he's got to do is raise the gun up, hit me, so I'm trapping the gun like almost in a scissor action. It grabs, this hand comes down, grabs the fist, and I go back to the attacker, spin around and down. The gun is constantly pointing at the attacker. All I have to do is turn it, out and down. So this way a couple times. If that gun goes off, he just shoots himself. That is one of the main principles of the gun. Always have the gun to where it's going to shoot the attacker and not somebody else. Remember this hand, it goes up to here, so if he tries to come over, you have this block. This hand goes down here, kind of way it traps, comes up to the attacker, down. Pointing right at the attacker now. If he wants to shoot, he can go ahead and shoot. You just roll it over, constantly pointing at him to there, and forcefully drive it into him. That will settle him down real fast. He will not try to fight with you anymore. One more time this way. Okay. Let's go this way a couple times so you can see how the gun will miss. Okay, here. That's where it's missing. I'm trying to point it down to the ground as much as I can and away. I grab, back, spin and drop straight down. Gun pointing at the attacker, in and down. Okay, last time. Okay. Okay, the fifth technique, a gun to the back. We'll do it in several different angles. This one here is, like I said earlier, basically when you have a gun to your back, you're not always going to know which hand the attacker has the gun in. So basically what it amounts to is if he has the gun in his right hand and you spin around, Kotogosh, or the first one, Flying Eagle, will be what you would do. If he has it in his left hand and you spin the same way, you will go into this technique that we're getting ready to do. That is why we have two gun techniques from the rear. Okay? Back this way first. Okay, now I have to spin this way both ways no matter what. If I get it, whichever hand he's in, that's the technique that I'll go into. But this is technique number 5. Okay? What I'm doing is I'm spinning this way, it makes the gun miss. This hand comes up while this one covers, and I lock the arm and down. Take the gun away from him and point it at him. Okay? You notice a little bitty body drop right there. Okay, slowly, it goes here. Body drop. Just tack down, using fingers to keep him under control at any time. Okay? Very simple, very easy, very painful technique. I'm not even applying this, but about half strength, and you can hear the ukes is in pain just with that much. So if you apply this 100%, you're probably going to break his wrist or forearm or both. Just because of the body drop. You're putting all your weight into that lock. At the same time, you're snapping down with the sharp edge of your bone right into the wrist. So here. You can see the gun's pointed away. You can take it away this way. Any way you want, using the fingers. Point it down. You can make him do anything that you want to do. Keep it pointed away at all the time. Okay? That finger in that gun, that's the most important part. Go this way a couple times. I step back. This arm comes up, comes underneath. I grab, down. Grab the gun, point it to the attacker. I can do anything I want to with it. If the gun slips out, say what you just did right there, you can always be ready. Use finger locks this way. Doesn't matter. Fingers is a very good tool to use. If you do this very combatively, you're going to tear his finger off or rip it to shreds, one of the two. Knowing this is a wooden gun, he would have a real gun in his hand, it would make it that much more painful. But here, real tight, down. With the gun, any way I wanted to turn it, I have him. You can just dance him around, do anything you want to do with him. Lock him up, anything you want to do with that finger. Just take your time with it. You don't want to go fast. Okay, one more time that way. Okay, once this way. Noting where the gun barrel goes, you should be able to see it when I turn. Just take this step and turn. Okay, it's missed. This hand comes up. Do anything you want to with him, he'll go with it. Last time. Note one other thing. Just as well as with the knives, you have strikes that you can do. One of the good ones for this one, of course, is very obvious. As you step through, bam, eye strike to the eyes, or palm strike, punch. Any of them things would be good as you turn, drop and rock. Okay? Take complete fighting, some of the ground fighting that's taught in Aiki combat. Another thing that I would like for people participating in Aiki combat is do what we call submission wrestling. This is after you have went through these locks, you have a pretty good idea with them, And the chokes, we're going to do a series of chokes for you to learn. Then we're going to go through a series of 16 ground fighting locks with variations and a few other things on volume 2. Now the chokes, anytime you're doing it in a combative situation, especially when you're doing it with a partner, friend, you don't want to clamp down because you'll injure that person, of course, because we do a lot of breath chokes as well as blood chokes. So that's what we're going to do right now. The very first thing is we're going to go over chokes. And we're going to do them just in a formal, easy type fashion so that when you do start doing submission wrestling, you'll be able to do them and control yourself so you don't hurt your partner. And we're also going to add on a couple of revival techniques as well. How to revive your attacker if you do go past the limit. The first choke that we're going to go over is called the scarf choke, and we're going to do it in 2 variations. We're going to do it with the breath, which is the front of the throat, which is very damaging. You can kill a person doing this, and then a blood. The blood is the one that I like for you to try to do when you do submission wrestling. Okay? Anytime you're doing this, whichever arm you're actually doing the choke with, that leg has to be up. Unless you're down on the ground, then it does not matter. If you are standing, that leg needs to be forward. Okay? In other words, you cannot have your left leg forward like this and choke like this, because basically you're just fighting against yourself and you're off balance. Another thing to look at as you're doing this, with your right leg up, is the ball of your back foot. Okay? You should be on the ball of your back foot, not like this, so you can drive in to your attacker as you're applying the choke. Okay? Now, let's get back to it. Another thing, when you apply chokes, you try to slither in like a snake, you might say. You never ever just reach around like this, too wide, because then he's going to sit, he can drop his chin. That's one of your defenses against a choke. You put his hand up, get it in the way, a lot of things. So basically, you just slide it in. And the first choke, basically, as soon as you see the first main knuckle on the thumb, that's as far as you want to go. Then this hand comes and you go palm to palm. Okay? Shoulder behind the head down, wrist action. This action here. Okay? One more time. Sliding around, making sure that you're on this part of the arm, not this part or this part. It's on the sharp part of the arm, and you're choking from this bone to here. That is your choking surface. Okay? One more time. You see, it don't take very long for him to slap out, but it's very painful. Okay, now we go to scarf B, you might say, which is blood. Basically, you take it around to where your thumb can touch the tip of your thumb can touch the top of his shoulder. Then you grab again, basically, and do exactly the same thing. Because the jugular vein is right in here. Okay, that's what you want to choke out: front of the throat and the jugular, cutting off the blood flow to the brain. So you reach around. As soon as your thumb is on top of the shoulder, you grab, and it's in this direction that you're choking instead of straight on. Okay? And that's your scarf choke. The next one is python. Basically, it's the same thing. Comes to here, you just have a better grip. A lot of people, it's harder for them to break this grip than the scarf. Putting the head down here, this is your breath choke. You're still cutting with the wrist using this part. One more time. He wraps around, it goes to here. You go to here, behind the head supporting, and lock. Okay, that's your breath, because the front edge of my wrist is on his throat. You cave in the esophagus, the abs can be crushed, all kinds of things. Okay, now the same thing basically with the python. You take it around, it goes all the way to the shoulder. You come to here, and you want to push in that direction for a good choke. That's your blood choke. Same thing. Okay? Goes around, slides around, and grabs onto the shoulder, comes around, and choke. You just squeeze in, okay? That's the second choke that you want to do. The next one is a scissor choke. These are lapel chokes, but if a person has a shirt on or a heavy jacket, you can do these. Slide the hand around, thumb goes underneath, and it's basically the same thing. When you see that first main joint, that's as far as you go. You grab on to it very tightly. The elbow comes down right where the thumb is and drops down, and you grab your tricep with your 4 fingers. Your thumb is on top. Basically, you're doing this action with the top, this one, with the bottom at the same time. You're scissoring the neck. Okay? This comes in very handy a lot of times when you're on the ground. When you're standing, this is not one of your better chokes. Okay, then a variation of that, exactly the same. You grab here. Remember to always grab there. It's called a half Nelson scissor. You take the arm and make sure that your arm goes down past the elbow. You don't want to get in here, he can headlock your arm. So out here, goes back behind the head down, your wrist action as you push forward on the head. Okay? It's your half Nelson scissor choke. Okay? The next thing that we're going to go over is a couple of revival techniques. Basically what I want you to do is turn around this way. We'll go from this area. If you can, anytime try to remember the hand that you're going to pick up the neck with, that leg should be up too as well. It just helps you more with weight and things like that. So you grab behind the neck and you grab the arm, shoulder, anything with your opposite arm. You lift your attacker up. Okay? Put your foot under, it should be in a slight angle. Grab both shoulders. Come up to your feet. Okay? Then you take the palms of your hands. You get down on the low part of the chest. Now if you listen very closely, you'll hear the air releasing from him. That's what you're trying to do, is open the passages. Then you drive the knee into the back as you pull back in this manner. Right down, drive back. Down, right back. Down, right back. Down, right back. Common mistakes. People try to do it just with this part of the hand. You need the whole hand, the whole palm driving down into the chest. You drive down into the center. You pull up from the center. What you're doing is you're opening the air passages, making him breathe again. Okay, this is A. Remembering the whole palm. And when you go to B, basically this is for somebody that's not all the way passed out there, just having a hard time catching their breath from being choked. And you need to help them along. So you drop down to your left knee again, and your left hand grabs the collar or shoulder, and the arm is on the back of the neck. You push forward. As you come forward a little bit, remove your right leg. Palm strikes right between the shoulder blades in an upward fashion. Okay? Just help him breathe. Well, basically all it is. He needs to be forward just a little bit, just like this. Okay? Yeah. Practice them. You might save your partner's life. I don't expect you to revive somebody that's tried to rob you or anything like this. This is for school use only. Now we're going to go through a few standing chokes. The first one is a palm down cross lapel choke. Basically you want to get way up here. The thumb needs to be on top of the shoulder as well as this one. Okay? And basically what you're doing with this, now making sure that you have this part of the arm here doing the choke. You're going to pull your elbows in, push your chest out, and draw him into you. These are good for ground fighting. Okay? That's the first one. The second one is exactly the same, except for it's palm up. And you must have your backhand, this part of your hand, resting on top of the shoulder in that deep. Now these ain't going to be no good for you if a guy don't have a shirt on or a t-shirt. So these are just in the winter time. Coats, things like this, it's easier to do these type chokes than the other. Okay? This one, your palms are up. You're going to pull your elbows out as you draw your chest in to get the choke done. So what we're basically telling you is no matter what a guy does, you got a choke that you can put on him to make it work. Okay? And the last two that we're going to do are going to actually do them on the ground in a top straddle position. Go ahead and lay down. The first one is called the tiger choke. Okay? This is called the top mount, top straddle position. If you get a guy in this position, if you don't want to beat him half to death and you want to choke him out, or maybe he might be drunk or on alcohol, drugs, and your punches is not effective and you just want to get him out of there, choke him out. That's the best thing to do. Left hand grabs around the neck, and your two fingers should be right in on the opposite side or this side of the neck, the bones in the neck. Okay? Then you grab down as low on the wrist as you can, and you want to lean well forward, cutting down into the throat. Now you don't want to go straight down to him. It's not going to work. You have to get your body weight going that way on it here. Okay? So you can see it works very fast. Okay? It's called the tiger. And grab the wrist, Okay? The next one is basically just a variation of the tiger, it's just with a lapel. First you want to grab with the palm up. Basically all this is your pulling arm, and you're going to grab here, palm down. And all you're doing is pulling with this as you drive that same thing across. Basically, so all I'm doing is pulling with this one, and all I'm doing is leaning forward and scissoring the neck off with my arm. Basically the same thing, all I'm doing is using the lapel. Okay? Just like that. Alright? That's the chokes that we're going to go over today. Thank you very much.